It's currently a little later than I'd like it to be making this video. It's kind of past my bedtime, 11 p.m. EST. Early to bed, early to rise, they say. But I feel like I need to make this video because it seems like every couple of months, something terrible comes out that makes Activision Blizzard look like complete assholes. And here it is again. So Activision Blizzard is actually being sued by Hex and Scump. I'm just going to kind of paraphrase this via Charlie Incel on Twitter. I think this is in order. Forgive me if it's not, but here's what the lawsuit essentially says, just kind of, taken down to a more digestible level. Breaking: Hector Hex Rodriguez and Scump of Optic, is that his passport name? Scump of Optic. Mr. Optic over here, middle name of, along with other CDL owner groups, have filed a lawsuit against Activision for its monopoly over the Call of Duty League. The lawsuit filed by CDL team owners against Activision alleges that Activision bought MLG in 2016 to fully monopolize its esports business and is claiming Activision failed to get FTC permission to acquire MLG. The lawsuit claims Hex suffered damages because Activision refused to let Hex own a spot in the CDL on his own without guaranteed investors. The suit says Hex initially sold Optic to Infinite for $20 million in 2017. He then reacquired the brand, but Activision said he needed investors to back his spot in the league, which is why they merged Optic into Envy. The lawsuit states that Activision signed the Call of Duty League streaming rights deal with YouTube and Google because Google offered Activision price discount deals on using Google Cloud for services, so they're just being cheap assholes. This is $1 billion company. Do you really need to do that? Do you need discounts? I know all about discounts. You don't really need them when you're that rich. You know what I'm saying? But it gets worse. The lawsuit alleges that Activision forced Hex to merge Optic with Envy. It alleges that in 2021, once he acquired 100% of Optic brand, Activision refused to give him the LA CDL spot because they wanted more investors backing him. It claims Hex was forced to give 92.5% of Optic's ownership to Envy and is asking for $120 million in damages. Now, I don't really follow CDL or the pro scene that much. The last time I really cared about Call of Duty, as far as pro players went, was back in Black Ops 3, and I'm not even being facetious there. It's just if I don't think the game is good competitively out of the box, pretty much, I don't really follow the pro league at all. I mean, there's just so much content you can ingest in the day, and I'm just a busy man. So in general, not really following the pro scene. However, I do know that Activision has been kind of just, really mishandling CDL and how things are going. On Charlie's personal Twitter account, he says, lots of folks are excited about this, the lawsuit, but it'll make the end of Activision and Microsoft's support of Call of Duty esports happen a lot sooner, I think. In CDL, give teams a certain portion of money back and move on. I agree with that last part. I don't think this needs to go to court and be a big stink, but how many times, honest to God, I'm just going to ask you guys in the comment section right now, how many times can Activision Blizzard just be complete pieces of shit and nobody does anything about it? While I agree this probably needs to happen, I am very happy to see this lawsuit calling out their scumbag practices. This is not the first time they've done something. Obviously, it's not the first time they've done something nefarious, but holy hell, how does any of this go on this long? Honest to God, it seems like every few months something else comes out that paints these people as the biggest villains in the gaming industry, and I don't think that's an exaggeration at all. And the fact that I can post something criticizing the company or criticizing Call of Duty or whatever, and all these neckbeard virgin weirdos come out of the woodwork and say oh, it's just Steam. Oh, the game's doing great. Oh, I love buying my $500 of skins per month. My entire McDonald's paycheck goes to making me look like a fucking idiot in this video game. You know what I mean? Like, that's essentially what they're doing constantly. Keep in mind, this is bad, but keep in mind here, I need to reiterate this till the end of time. Someone lost their life because of the toxic work environment at Activision Blizzard. This is not just hyperbole. This is not me exaggerating. Look that up. Google it right now. It's all over the internet. And like, it was kind of a thing that just was swept under the rug, you know? But if you think this is just some kind of recent thing, if you think like Activision being terrible is a recent thing, I'm going to take you back all the way back to 2009. I wanted to cover this in a video, but I didn't want to make a whole entire video dedicated to it because it's just kind of one event that happened in the past. It may not be that interesting in a vacuum, but I think it needs to be kind of combined here, okay? This is an article from PC Gamer, and I'm going to kind of skim it, but this goes back all the way to 2009 when the OG MW2 came out. So a few months after it came out, essentially there was a big stink over lack of pay for some of the devs, and Activision canned the studio heads, Weston Zampella. And upon doing that, a lot of Infinity Ward employees left out of protest, and Modern Warfare 2 never got that patch that was supposed to fix one-man army noob tubes, among other things, because half the studio left. And then Modern Warfare 3 came out with the help of Sledgehammer added on, and it turned out to be essentially a patch for Modern Warfare 2 at the end of the day. And the more things change, the more they stay the same, because that's what's happening in modern day Call of Duty, modern Modern Warfare 2 and modern Warfare 3. If I say modern one more time, you know what, actually take a shot every time I say modern. You'll have alcohol poisoning in about 3 minutes if I keep going here. But anyway, modern Warfare is repeating the past of the previous Modern Warfare games. It's all chronologically confusing, but let's just get into the article here. I'm going to skim it a little bit, but I'm going to cover a great deal of it. And I'll leave a link to this in the pinned comment as well if you want to read the whole thing. Former Infinity Ward dev says Activision told staff to take the money and get over it after cold-blooded canning of studio heads West and Zampella. In 2009, Infinity Ward heads Jason West and Vince Zampella were abruptly fired by the company's owner, Activision. West and Zampella had directed the original Call of Duty and brought the series to superstardom through Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. Their sacking just before the release of MW2 shocked the industry and arguably changed the course of both Call of Duty and FPS forever. Now, a dev who worked at IW at the time has recalled the dramatic events of that day. Paul Sandler, who is currently lead designer at NetEase Games, wrote an article on LinkedIn detailing the day's events. Jason and Vince just got fired, the article starts. In the words of a lead artist who broke the news to Sandler while riding a scooter around Infinity Ward's office. I don't know. I know it's not Robert Bowling, but I would love if that was Robert Bowling just riding a scooter around Infinity Ward's office, like, you know, saying like, I'm a stealth clown, the heads got fired or whatever. But anyway.
And so their sight lines, they're running through and they're like, oh, it's just a clown, it's fine. But I have my gun posted up there at his hand, like just picking guys off. And I love that because it was a perfect moment of like, they have no clue I'm even here. I'm a stealth clown.
I just sat there in stunned silence with my eyes wide open, Sandler recalls. I stood up from my chair and said, what the fuck, why? So let's just scroll down a little bit and cover some more here. According to Sandler, Activision saw the rebellion brewing, was over pay, and attempted to stop it. At an emergency company meeting in the studio kitchen, Activision executives tried explaining what was happening, but nobody in the team bought or cared for this. With an explanation falling on deaf ears, Activision apparently tried a different tactic. Sandler paraphrases what the executive said next. Guys, if you stay with the studio to make Modern Warfare 3, you will receive your MW2 bonuses, and we will also give everyone a 50% salary increase. Sandler writes that if anything, most of the team was feeling even more upset, at which point the executive played hardball, saying, just take the money and get over it. Sandler says that, in the end, 40 of Infinity Ward's 100 employees, let me just stop right there, 100 employees made one of the most influential Call of Duty games of all time. We do not need 3,000 devs. In fact, the more devs we have, the worse things seem to get. Because after Black Ops 2, which released 3 years after, Modern Warfare 2 here, then, that was pretty much the end of the good Call of Duty games. Like, the really good golden age of Call of Duty games. But anyway, I digress. In the wake of West and Zampella's firing, though other reports say the final total was 46, of these, 38 joined the pair's new EA-backed studio Respawn Entertainment and would work on games like Titanfall and Apex Legends. Sandler himself remained undecided at Infinity Ward due to the impending legal trial over unpaid MW2 bonuses. Regarding his final decision, he concludes that is a story for another article. So as you can see, guys, Activision has been screwing the pooch for a long time. I want to see them self-destruct at this stage, even under Microsoft. I'm sorry, I do, man, because Call of Duty especially needs to go in an entirely different direction, or it's going to continue the downtrend. Even worse, they've already killed off Overwatch. I mean, Overwatch 2, guys, I'm not really an Overwatch fan, but I can see clear as day how Overwatch 2 is being bled to death. They're being milked until the cow's udders are emitting, dust, essentially. It's embarrassing. Greed has taken over everything Activision Blizzard has touched. If Microsoft doesn't do some serious redecorating, things are going to get worse and worse here. And I don't know. I'll keep you guys updated on this lawsuit, on the present day lawsuit, and on any new articles that come out about past Activision discretions and whatnot. And I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm going to head to bed now. I'm actually pretty exhausted. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And I will catch you on the next one. Peace.
Do some parting advice.